All right, welcome back to Unleash Your Purpose podcast with your host, Ryan Centers. I am so excited. We are on location at the best coffee shop in all of the United States at Hanai. And I'm with 4 dads that I respect more than anyone else in the entire world. And we are doing a conversation about fatherhood because it's Father's Day. And wanted to get some words of wisdom and some craziness between all of us. So welcome to the show, gentlemen. Thank you. All just bobbing their heads. They were invited yesterday, and they are very excited.
So excited.
Yes, thank you. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us your name, and then also your family, your kids, and all of that.
Go ahead, Calvin.
You're in it. I know. Sorry.
He said he was going to do it. And he said he's going to do it. No, I'm Calvin. 29. They just turned 29. I have 2 kids, 7-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. I would say experiences with being a dad right now, just kind of, it's all formulating still, even with having an older child and such. It's just a new experience. It's never nothing that I'm used to, I would say. I'm always learning something new, I would say.
Yeah, you're a resident new dad, and kind of that you have a toddler, and
he's like a kid.
Newish dad.
I was like, no, he's having full sentences now. He's talkative. That's what he is.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. The next thing is going to square up on you.
Yeah. Wrestle.
I'm Cory Lawson. I'm 48, and I have a 22-year-old. I've got a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Soon to be 11. My daughter is, but the 5-year-old.
It's like they tell you your 5-year-old. That's a big jump.
Yes. Yeah.
5 going on 11.
Any surprising things about being a dad now? Especially you have all that huge span. I wouldn't say you're the resident old dad, but I would not say that.
Just the biggest surprises is when you think you get things figured out, they throw a monkey wrench in the gears, or when you expect to be serious, they're making you laugh.
Yep.
Yeah, a couple of things right there.
That's good.
Very nice. My name is Mike. I am 37 today.
Yeah.
So, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me. I have 2 daughters. Araya just turned 11, and Sophia is soon to be 14, starting high school. So my experience being a dad is I thought I had it all figured out, but now I have one going to high school and one is preteen. So every day I'm like, WTF, what's going on? So,
and you're the girl dad.
The girl dad, yes. The playing sports, but then I go home and get to deal with, hey, Dad, I need new tampons and all this stuff. So I get to go.
Have you shopped? Have you went to the tampon aisle?
I'm a pro at it now.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I have not, but
definitely. So those are the challenges of being a girl dad. But every day I'm figuring it out.
You know all the types.
Yep, all the types.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm Kevin, and those are things I'll never experience as a boy dad. So I'm not missing out there. Right? Not missing out. I'm 40. I have 4 boys. My oldest is 14, and then 12, 10, and 9. So fairly close together. They're great. Everyone always at the beginning stages said, hey, they're wild, but they'll be great when it comes to middle school, high school. Which in some degree I could relate. Like I don't have to shop for certain items, but my oldest son and now my 12-year-old, they're starting to growl at me. So I'm not quite sure what's happening when they are upset with me. So I guess it's better than cursing, but they kind of just shake or growl. So hopefully they come out of that like animal reaction stage and become full-fledged men. But that's my hope.
So you're in that grunting stage.
Grunting, yes. I guess it's grunting. I don't know. It's hard to hear them.
Do you grunt back to them? You go, "Rrr."
And then maybe I need to start. Maybe that's what it is. I need to start grunting or growling.
Yeah, it's like a dominance thing. They're probably like trying to learn their place in the pack,
Yes.
and they're trying to stand up. You need to show them that you're still the alpha.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that would be my action step going home.
Yeah.
Growl back.
There's my there's my advice to you. Next time they growl at you, just take your shirt off. Like, I'll growl right back at them. See what happens.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Give them a good scare.
I think so. I have 11 kids, 9 adopted, but I have a lot of boys. And what I have noticed is I have a lot of preteen boys, and everything is like WWE, MMA. I knew it was happening, but it's constantly just trying to prevent wars from going on, and their best friends and then their enemies. And so that adds a little element. One of my oldest son is at camp this week, so I've taken my second oldest, the 13-year-old, to the gym with me, and I wake him up this morning, and we're going to do leg days, and of course he rolls in with his Crocs, which is a disgrace to the center's name, that you do not wear Crocs while you work out. So I said, I'm going to blast you in our workout with legs, but that means I have to go hard, and my back is already kind of like about to borderline go out. And so we're squatting, and I'm like, son, go give me that belt. And I make him, we put the belt on. He's like, and he just looks at me with like such disgust. Like, I've never seen kids like be so unimpressed by you. And so you never feel like more worthless than when you look at, when your son looks at you like, no. And you just embarrass, he's always embarrassed by me. So that's a badge of honor. And also I'm a little nervous. Like my teenage kids are like cats. I've always compared to cats. Like, do you like me? Do you not? Like, what kind of mood are you in this moment? Yeah. But I don't care. Like, I hate cats, and I'm called to just make sure you're alive and becoming to a full-fledged.
It's like a Royal Rumble as soon as you walk in the house.
I know.
You jump off the top rope, say Dad, and you just start wrestling them.
Exactly. So yeah, that's fun. So I guess what were some of the, I mean, as you think back to now, combined years probably have like 50 years of fatherhood. Like what were some of the most surprising, challenging things that have stood out to you about being a dad that maybe you've learned that, but also maybe has been like, oh, wow, this is more challenging than I ever thought.
I would say, yeah, I would say this requires a lot of patience. I would say it's just so many times it's so easy to kind of lose sight of that as they're growing up, as they're like basically forming their own identity, becoming their own person. And I feel like with that, you have to be able to be patient, kind of got to take time to understand them, honestly. I think like recently I catch him like kind of mimicking what I do when I'm in the household, when I'm like cleaning or if I'm like taking care of stuff in the backyard. He'll literally like copy me. He'll have the broom and be like sweeping the patio and whatnot. And then like she just thinks it's so funny. She'll just capture it on video. She's like, oh, look what Cyrus did. Like he's just back here just clean all yard. He saw daddy do it. So now he's doing what you're doing.
It really makes you mindful that you can't just lay on the couch or be lazy because they're watching everything you do. And he's not questioning it. He's only 2, but I'm like, you're at this, like, well, I feel like you're at a stage where you're gonna start asking questions. So it's like, why are we sitting down? Why are we going places? We gotta go outside. We gotta have some fun. Let's go do some things. That's good. That's good. This weekend my kids were we had this light on in our backyard that my 2-year-old threw the remote control into our pond. So now, for the last week and a half, this bright light has been shining into our bedroom every night. And it's just so frustrating. So I make my son, hey, go get the ladder. We're going to try to take this thing down. The thing is, a thing that should be an easy fix ends up taking us an hour and a half of turning off every fuse, trying to find the right tool, go get mom's tools.
And you're dad, so you gotta
act
like you know
everything.
Act
like
right?
we're doing it, and there's not. I just want to call the handyman, but I'm gonna make sure we get it done. And is that light off? Yes. Will it ever have another light bulb in there? Probably not.
Mission accomplished. Though.
Mission accomplished.
Permanent solution.
But he saw it. he learned how to fix something half well, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he's always watching. Yeah.
And I think that goes to, like you said, you can't just sit on the couch. And that goes like when you have younger kids, as they're growing up, them being a sponge, like you talked about, and then seeing you ever move. As soon as you walk through the door, that's your only job. They don't care what kind of day you had. If you had a bad day at work, if you worked all day and you're tired, your feet are tired. Like, as soon as you get home, like, hey, Dad, your real job starts now. So those are the challenges. You know, it's the fun part, but it's gonna be challenging because you have to. Again, your kids don't care what you did, who you know, how many hours you worked. You just have to be dad, and you come home. And and then as they get older, you realize all those things they watch you do. They're mimicking as they're younger, but then they start doing those things, and then as they're older, the life lessons you start teaching them, you're seeing them, and you have to know when you come home, it's the intentional time, not just playing. You know, the fun time is playing. It's exhausting because you want to lay on the couch and watch TV, but as they get older, especially my girls now, is teaching them those life lessons, right? Instead of, you no longer can be on Dad's shoulders, but I can teach you. All right, you had this kind of day at school. This is the lesson you learn from it. Sports, this is the lesson you learn from it. So just transitioning when they're younger, them seeing you do everything. So you have to be that perfect example, that superhero to them. And then as they get older, like you said, do they like me? Am I doing something right? Do they hate me? And you don't know that, but you know you're still there, whether they don't like you one day.
Yeah, it don't matter.
They love you the next minute, and then the next minute they're growling at you. It's you have to be dad. You know, take it all, right? So those are some challenges.
You're like kind of getting to the point. It's like natural manhood is like there's a lot of times where you just want to check out and just be an empty box. Like you've been working so much, you just want to come home and be empty and think about nothing. But like your main ministry in life is to be an intentional dad first, and you have to kind of turn that on because the days are long, but the years are short. Yeah, and you got to be intentional with those kids, and that's your first and most important thing. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think for me, for challenge. I think of a wonderful classic movie, Big Daddy, and Adam Sandler. And there's a scene in there where he just got the kid, and he's calling his dad from a payphone. So that kind of puts the dating of that movie where it's at. And he's like calling his dad for some advice, and his dad's like, "What are you doing? What are you thinking?" And Adam Sandler's character is like, "This kid is just always around." He's like, you would think that he wants some privacy or a break or something. And
they're like
always like, and I just think, that, but it's a challenge because I think in that, like, they just bring up to the forefront, you're like, I am just so selfish. Like, like them
just get away from me.
Yeah. Like, it's like, man, when I want to, do my own thing, or I want to, get in my nothing box or whatever, it's like that reminder, like I gotta like sacrifice self to be present for these kids. And it's like that's a process that everyone says it, but like the day in and day out, like the consistency of that, it's like, man, God is working through those kids to refine me, that's for sure. Because it's a challenge to be confronted with your selfishness, but it's a joy because they're making me a better person, making me a better dad. So
they all have their own room space. We have a huge house, but for some reason it's like a moth to the flame. They constantly want to be around you. And the moment I come home, they want to talk to mom over and over and over again. And God forbid I have a few minutes just to talk to my wife. Hey guys, just want to pause the episode for 2 seconds and say thank you for listening. What we know is that 90% of you guys are not subscribed. And if you find any value out of this, I would encourage you to click that subscribe button, like this episode, and share it with one friend. We are getting tons of feedback on the channel, and we would love to grow the impact that we have in our community. So subscribe now.
So what you were saying, Kevin, is like, I feel that it's got to be a balance. The kids are always wanting your attention. They want you to hang around them. Like, so my son, he's watched at home by my mother-in-law. And so when I get home, he's been there all day. Yeah. And he's been around old people. And he's just dying for like, oh, you're not 60 years old. Let me talk to you. And I understand that. But what's really important, I think, is that you have to have some you time. Like you can't have like 24 hours of kids and not, nothing, like at least a half hour, maybe an hour of, probably half hour is probably more accurate. Sometimes 15 minutes, depending on the day.
Yeah.
But it's impossible, I think, to really be a great dad day in and day out without a little bit of dad time. I don't think that's very selfish. I suppose if I sat and played Call of Duty or something all day, that'd be a different story. But I think that a little bit of time to just, whether or not if it's in the bathroom, I mean, that is a great place to hide from the kids. But you got to have that. You got to have that alone time.
Dad's taking a really long poop.
Yes, I am.
Every day. But
You're going to the bathroom again? Now my son knows how to like find me, and he like will just stand there and watch me. Yeah, so having that time where you can kind of get filled back up, so then you can go out and be a present dad.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's
very
good.
important.
I think it's just the overall challenges as fathers, but as men, is you have to be, good at everything. You have to go to work and be the best you can be there to have a career you like and love and you're happy with, but also to provide for your family, because first and foremost, men, we want to do that, right? But then we'll also have to love our spouse, because that takes, we have to put into that, and then we got to put into ourselves, and then we got to put into our kids. So a lot of times, you're like, okay, go in your room, go play. And so the challenges we have is we have to be better rounded everywhere. We got to be a child of God and spend time with God and our faith, better husband, because that makes me a better father, right? A better person. I work on myself so I can be happy with myself, right? I listened to a good podcast where it relates to this as well, where it talks about how when I stop trying to be what I want to be and what God wants me to be is where I get better. So I think I learned that as a father over the years too, when I found my faith, is when I stopped being the dad I wanted to be or I thought I was going to be, and just being happy with the father that God wants me to be, right? The father God's making me, helping me to be. That's what really helps me get through those times where I'm like, I really just want to sit by myself and sit on the couch. Okay, I gotta take you to another football practice or another soccer practice, and not get thanked for it, or they don't realize as fathers, right? It's those certain things, and when they're younger, there's like, okay, you bought me this, what are you buying me now, right? Or you took me to practice, okay, Dad, what are you doing now? You have to just constantly remind yourself, like, those are the moments that you're not appreciated, but they do appreciate it, and that's your job as a father. So.
Yeah.
Good. A couple hot topics that in regards we're probably all facing is one is I wanted to ask, like, how do you guys navigate the technology and screen time with kids? And I guess what's your kind of philosophy around that, or are you still kind of emerging in what that is? Because what I'm noticing is that become like their best friend and become almost an addiction. And then it really struggles with interpersonal skills, social skills. And so how do you handle that? Because I think this is a new terrain as young parents and parents in this generation that you have to deal with in ways that we never thought possible. And that was one question. And then the second one would be, after that, like entitlement. Like, how do we make sure these kids, we don't create entitled brats? If that makes sense. Yeah. So for me, anyone crack the code on the
Screen time?
The screen time, technology time. My kids hate me right now because they are, like, we're pretty rigid on ours. Like, they get an hour a day, but then there's no technology at all on Sundays. So it's tech-free Sundays. And so they get an hour a day at certain times. And we have been giving them opportunities to do gigs during the summer where they can do like a chore. If they clean out the pool or they clean out the sprinter, they could maybe earn an extra hour. And it's like, man, that I have never seen that van look so good. I mean, they are squeegeeing the windows because they know it needs to be next level. But yeah, I mean, if I let it go crazy, they would be on it for 8-9 hours a day.
Yeah. It's easy to get lazy as a parent too with technology like that. It's like, well, here's my chance to have my time or whatever.
Yeah,
Bennett,
definitely.
go get on your tablet.
Yeah.
And like
Mm.
he's before I even have it out of my mouth, he's already on it.
Yeah.
He's just like literally just the other day discovered Minecraft. And so he's watched my daughter play it, and now he's just like Minecraft. He was like a little robot.
Yeah.
He can't do anything but get in front of that TV. So that's a new challenge for us. Like we thought it was bad with the tablet before, but now once he gets off the tablet, he wants to be on the
game.
PlayStation now.
Yeah.
So, and it's if it's not that, it's TV. I sure don't have any kind of formula. I'm still doing it. You know, it's challenging for myself. I mean, heck, if you look at it, when I was a kid, I think the first Nintendo just came out. Like I was like 8 years old playing Super Mario Brothers. I mean, I think there was Pong and like the Atari and stuff like that before, but
The one where you had to push in, blow out this, blow up dust and put it in.
exactly.
Yeah.
And probably as a kid, I'm sure I would have been addicted to it as well. I never had one.
Yeah.
We had a Super Nintendo when I was like almost a teenager. But my parents were pretty strict with that, so I didn't really have the chance to just veg out. But you know, my oldest, he's a strange bird only because we gave him everything he needed. He had, you know, a TV. When he was 8 years old, he started beating me at Madden, and so that's when I retired. I said, my 8-year-old son is kicking my butt at Madden, so I don't think this is for me anymore.
Yeah.
But it never really got to a point with him that we'd be like, you got to get off that stupid TV, because he was in the sports. He was really good in school, so we really lucked out. Marley, she's we've given her she's got an iPad, she's got a computer, she's got TV in her room.
Do you feel like that's a good thing, or do you think it's been?
She's really streaky. Like she'll get on there and we don't see her for a week because she's been playing the DS, and then she'll come out and then we can't get rid of her. So a little happy medium in there would be all right, but but I mean Bennett, being the youngest, I mean he's a new breed. And,
Yeah, the digital generation, that is like, we both have a 7-year-old, and we've had to limit that so significantly, because it's like Sarah and I were out of town for a week. All the kids come in, give us a hug, excited to see us. He's like, do I still get my 2 hours? Before he even says hi, and he's like, he sees us back, do I still get my 2 hours? I'm like, you look like an addict.
Yeah.
You look like an addict. That's the only thing you care about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, now you got no hours. Because so now it's like, you're like just taking it to this next level. But it's way easier to just not deal with it than to deal with it, I think. Yeah.
Like I said, it's easy to, when you want your time with yourself or your spouse, you're like, okay, go watch TV, go get some kind of technology, save me. And it's just a different world where, again, us as children, our parents kicked us out and say, don't come home till the streetlights come back on.
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
like, oh, this
no
is
doubt.
see ya, you know. And then now, being a girl dad, I'm like, I don't watch you. You're out front. I'm watching your every move, you know. So it's this different world.
So you got 2 girls. Do you check their phones?
Yep. They.
Do you read
my
their text
youngest daughter
messages?
just youngest daughter's got a phone because she's going to be at my older daughter started high school, so she got a cell phone earlier than she needed to, because our rule is not a cell phone until they were 12. But yeah, cell phone's got to go up every night, and then my youngest, she's only allowed a certain time on a cell phone right now. And so the oldest, we had a lot of restrictions on her phone, but now being in high school, we're trying to let up, because like the teachers use like an app to communicate, the coaches use like, hey, here's an app to communicate with parents, and so she doesn't have those things, and so it's always blocked. And she's like, Mom, Dad, I can't look at time practices because the app's blocked. It's like, yeah, it is. We like that, but trying to give her a little more freedom. I look at it as, I'm not trying to block her from the world. I'm trying to filter what goes through, and I think that's what I try to do with my children. Is I can block as much as I can, but they're going to hear it from so and so or at school or see it somewhere. So I rather filter it and address it and talk to them about it than just trying to, hey, I'm never going to talk to you about it again because we don't talk about it. We're trying to block you from it, and they're going to find out and never tell you. Because as children, we learn things from friends or from anywhere, and you didn't tell your parents you knew that. You never cussed around your parents, but you knew all the curse words, I bet, right? And that's the same thing with I think with our children, is they know all this stuff. They just know, okay, I don't say that around mom or dad. So I think trying to filter it the best I can
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out every day. It's not like I have it mastered, but that's what I try to do with the technology. But just goes up every night. You're not allowed to, we get to see your phone whenever we want. When our hand goes out, phone goes here. We have to check all that. So,
Right.
but trying to give them that freedom as well too. Like, hey, here's how you build trust, but it can be taken away at any time.
Yeah, and if you don't even check the phone occasionally or check what, like I was looking, my 13-year-old son, he was on his computer. He they're so sneaky.
Yeah.
He gets like his 2 hours over the summer or whatever, and then it's like, then he got onto his computer and had all these messages up. I'm like, who are you texting? He said, oh. So then I start going through it. And I'm like, who's this person?
Yeah.
Oh, it's my friend from this school 2 years ago. And like, wait, who's this person? Oh, I met them in Mexico when we went on vacation 3 summers ago. He's my best friend. I'm like, no, this is not. I go,
sound right.
you're not texting people I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a thing. And so it's like I constantly have to be. It's way more work. The technology makes it way more work that you have to be on. But I'm like I don't even need to know who you're texting and what you're about here. It's tough. It's super tough.
It's tough, and it's tough because it's not going away, right?
No.
So it's. I try to take the approach of like thinking it's only going to get, they're only going to get more saturated with it, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's, like virtual reality or whatever, with AI.
You're gonna
all
have a
these
virtual
things.
reality girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, I could see people walking around.
They're dating someone that's an AI.
Yeah,
that's freaky.
So I kind of always like taking the approach like, how do you create boundaries? Like trying to have conversations with them, like you guys, and for themselves, but then also for their kids. It's like this is a tool. It's a neutral thing. It's neither bad or good, but like it can be used in really devastating ways, or it could be utilized and like leveraged for a lot of good things. So like I don't want to try to. Because it's tough. Because sometimes it seems like they're just walking around like crack addicts, like and so you get like this thing is evil, and but you try to. I try to look at the context and like understand what's behind it and help them understand like, hey, like you've got whole industries that are just trying to just get your attention, keep you hooked on this stuff. So painting a larger picture, and then and we struggle significantly with it. And yeah, my oldest. Every week he's like, when am I going to get my phone back? I'm like, maybe when school starts. That's where we're at right now because of trying to prevent some of the entitlement and trying to learn just some of the life lessons as he's entering into high school. And both boundaries, but also like, hey, like I think one thing we've done well is like you can have a space or a place for it. I don't want you like going in your bed like under your covers, playing on your phone or whatever. It's like, hey, like it's a tool and you can use it appropriately and for these things. But then also I think it's created a sense of entitlement, which you asked about, which is a huge struggle. And what maybe I'm seeing more of a challenge is this expectation that they just get to play. And I don't know if it's just what they're viewing and seeing and communicating with others, but that's something that, we're really trying to address with our oldest and trying to say like, you've got to like learn how to be respectful and interactive with people, not just expecting like it's creating this weird entitlement thing. So that's a struggle right now for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's also causing people to not be able to communicate face to face.
Yeah.
I don't know how to talk to so-and-so because I'm used to talking online.
Yep.
And then that also brings like, I thought the internet was just for cats and arguing with people, or looking at pictures of cats and arguing with people. No, but I think people, when you aren't looking at somebody face to face and you're having an argument, there's no respect involved. So they learn at an early age that they can talk to people any way they want.
Yeah.
With no repercussions. They're not sitting across from them, ready to slap them in the face. Or it's no. There's virtually no repercussions from it. So
It's good. I've generally heard like I got this advice from someone with technology. They said no, and we kind of have taken this, no phones till 16, no social media till you're graduating high school. And then also always have to have 2 people on a screen, meaning you can never have a screen. Like, we made a rule that no screens in the bedroom, because that's where there's isolation and alone, and you're looking at stuff you shouldn't be. But if your brother's sitting next to you, you're not going to be looking at porn.
Yeah.
You're not going to be kind of creeping up on something or texting some girl or somebody about something inappropriate. If you're with somebody else, it helps. So it's like kind of filtering it through and allowing these, because this tool that is fun and positive, but we don't want to end up causing them to go down this direction where they are so addicted or have these unhealthy relationships. That's a real scary thing for sure. As you as a young dad, what do you?
I was literally gonna say, because you talked about how we don't usually do screens in the rooms. We keep it like you would keep it maybe in the main area.
Yeah,
I've literally tried that since like a while ago when we lived in Mesa at one point, and I even said it to my wife before. Like, it's better to just keep the TV or like this main source of entertainment in the living room in a main public area. It's like a sense of involvement. We're spending that time together. And even now, like with my son, like we don't have it in our room. Like anytime we want to watch movies, anytime we want to like be around each other and have that time, even when I get home, like he's like just running after me. He sees me and whatnot. And then like we're in the living room getting everything set up with his tablet. Like, I guess he would be on it because it's still like he just recently got a tablet. He's been on for maybe like an hour or more, but like I try to myself personally, I try to keep him from not being on there too much because I don't want that to be the case. Like, I know growing up, again, I've been outside. My parents did not believe in using. They had systems and whatnot taken away. When we wanted to do our chores on the weekend, or when we wanted to get our systems on a weekend, we would do our chores first. And then once all that was completed, then we had at least like a few hours to play the game prior to dinner time and whatnot. So like having that instilled in my mind, I want to be able to do that same thing with my kids. So like we've had it where the main source is in the living room. We spend maybe a good hour or so. Like if it's not movie time, like we're not being on the TVs or we're not on devices too long, or we'll plan like an actual day of going out and about. Like I don't want us to be cooped up in the house and kind of like not doing things. And it does take a second. Sometimes I do come home from work. It'd be a busy day, deal with a lot. It's a lot that goes on with that. So naturally we want to have time to, we want to decompress. We want to have time ourselves. That bathroom is like the sanctuary for me. So like I'm gonna dedicate a good hour. It's got to the one point where my wife has called on. She was like, "So what you doing in there?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally using the bathroom. Just on my phone, just trying to." Oh man, it's just funny video. It's like a bunch of cats just running up. It's the whole thing. So like, it just depends. Like it really depends how you want to navigate and how you want them to have it instilled in them. Because you don't want them to be entitled. I wouldn't want my kids growing up feeling like they could say or do something in front of a person without repercussions. I want them to be able to be social. I know I had a moment where I struggled with that before. So even now I still struggle with it here and there, just managing and whatnot. So I'm just like, I want that to be kind of broken with them. I want them to have that clarity to be able to speak to us about things. I don't want them to hide that they're on things and being a part of how the social media and how the internet is, because they can see anything. He's literally diverted from, it used to be Bluey, then it was Peppa Pig, like recently it's Spider-Man. Spider-Man's just everything. If he doesn't see that on screen, or if he's not able to have his toy in front of him, it's just chaos. It's chaos, complete and utter chaos. And I'm just like, we gotta dedicate time. I'm just gonna put time here we can watch a few videos, we'll watch an episode or two, then we gotta shut that off. And he gets sad, he gets emotional and whatnot, but I'm like, hey, we're gonna go outside, we're gonna go in the pool, we're gonna go do this and that. Like, I don't want you to be stuck on this. And again, me and my wife have these moments where, like, again, long day from work, we want to decompress, so I'll have him with me, hang with me. Sometimes when I want to decompress, it's the other way around. So it's a lot.
And it's finding balance, like, and especially you're trying to balance out two working parents full time, young kid. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And what I do respect you a lot is like you have had this where you said, being social wasn't your natural thing, but now as you practiced it, you're really skilled at it.
I'm better. I would say I'm better at it way more than I was when I was younger. Honestly.
Yeah. So it's like putting that, like, okay, I watched myself grow in this. It probably is, if I've learned that, I can instill that into my kids as well.
Thanks for joining us for the Unleash Your Purpose podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll see you next week.